sometimes when you speak about, financial services or, even the insurance and you kind of, you're looking to connect that with the Pan-African community, right? It can be kind of deflected, in conversations. Not really something that's spoken about. However, the concepts of, self-awareness and, being empowered, having that revolutionary spirit of independence and liberation, is very present. But but cultivating the resources to do that on a large scale is not always at the forefront of the conversation. Can you speak to that? Why do you think that is, and how did you find balance with that inside of yourself?
Why that is. Without being here for hours on end. And I don't even think I don't think it takes that, but that's a great question. I think it has a lot to do with distrust for this country, the banking system, the way this country, became wealthy, became a superpower. I think for many people who think in that Pan-Africanist, conscious, I'm not going to say the right word. Somebody's going to have a problem with one of
Right,
those.
right. Somebody will say
But
something, right.
but the people I grew up around, I think that there was a huge focus on do for self, which I believe in that too. Absolutely. I believe it's a both and, not an either or. But I think the fear of the financial services industry, the banking industry, and like I said, how this country came to wealth, that coupled with the mentality of doing for self, I think that really made a lot of folks shy away from digging deeper into finances.
Mhm. Yeah.
And I used to say, when I would be challenged sometimes about certain products, annuities, and index universal life, I would say, "Do you use the bank?" And end it right there.
Yeah.
And I don't know, if that was smart, if I left some things on the table, but all I know is that worked. When I had elders to challenge me and what
Hmm.
I was doing, what I was learning, and things of that nature, I would just say, do you use the bank?" And they said, "Yeah." I said, "Well, let me show you another way to save and really grow your money because the bank is robbing you anyway. So let's dig in."
So put your money where the banks put their money.
Exactly.
Get
And
that
they're,
extra interest that they're not giving you,
and
right?
they're doing it on a large scale while while you're putting your money there. So anyway, that was the kind of way, for me to get around it. But I will say that sometimes when people are closed-minded to the point that they're just not going to hear you, that's fine with me too.
They're not going to hear you. Right, right, right. And that's how that goes. So you found your start. You said you were taking the LSAT,
Hmm.
which is commendable. I studied for it. I didn't take it. I studied for it. I didn't take it. Right? But you were taking the LSAT, and you said a friend said, "Hey, their brother was running an agency." So is that how you got started, or were you already at? I know you were at United. You say you had the United T-shirt on. So were you at United, or were you at the other agency? How did you start your career? In the industry.
Okay, so I cut my teeth with that friend's brother's insurance company
Got
as
you.
a
Okay.
broker. So I hadn't taken the LSAT yet. I was
Got you.
actually taking a break. I graduated from Morris Brown and was taking a little breather, getting ready, like gearing myself up for the LSAT or for law school, right? And during that time, I took a job, at the assisted living, which I love. I already knew I, had a real reverence for elders, but when I was working there, I learned that I really, really, really love seniors, and so
Mm.
that's where I made the transition then over to insurance.
Got you. Got you.
Yep.
Okay. So started there at the brokerage
Hmm.
firm,
Hmm.
then made the move. And where did you get where did you get started initially? Did you start on the sales side? Were you on the service side? Were you on the wholesale? Where did you kind of find your path
Sales.
in sales?
Sales.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Because when I came out of college, I got a job, some company, they called it a customer service job. So I went for it. And lo and behold, I found myself in a collection agency.
Mm.
And I was over there doing some customer service, but I would hear people calling out these big numbers of money they collected and, how much they were going to make on their goal. And I was like, wait, I want to go over there.
Yeah.
So coming into insurance, and I always used to ask myself as a bill collector, I was good at it. And I would say, why did God take me down this route? Now I have a political science degree. I'm headed to law school and I'm in a bill collection agency, but I was loving it. Once I got over there and I started making money, like I really loved it. And so fast forward to insurance, I think back and I say, wow, if you can get on the phone and collect thousands and thousands of dollars from people, because I was working on like Bank of America accounts or Department of Education accounts, so large accounts. If you can do that, then by golly, you ought to be able to help somebody get into some products that's going to help their life. And so I
Absolutely.
was
Absolutely.
thankful for that experience. Like I questioned it, but then I was like, oh yeah, that was good experience.
Absolutely. And
Yeah,
when you started when you started, did you start working with seniors immediately right out of the gate
I
based on your
did.
previous experience? Okay.
I did.
And then just kind of continue to transition.
I can remember the first time someone asked me about an annuity, and it was a wealthy client, and I knew nothing about annuities. I was servicing he and his wife's Medicare supplement,
Mm.
and their son had just kicked off like $1 million business, and he asked me about annuities. And Rod, I didn't know, and I just sent. I said, hey, like, let you talk to my mentor.
Right. Right.
But then I was like, wait a minute. I don't want to do that anymore once I found out the outcome.
Right. You're like,
So
I need to learn this.
yeah, so I just kept graduating. Yeah.
Yeah. What do you think has been, your success? Because as I'm listening to you, you're learning one thing, then you're learning the next thing, then you're learning the next thing, and then and we're about to go into, the organizations that you're founding and some of your coaching too. I'd like to touch on that. But what has been your process? And it's maybe because you were going to law school, maybe that's what it is. But what's been your process to like learn these different skill sets? You say, hey, I didn't know about annuities at the time, but boom, I realized, okay, I need to go and pick this up. All right, now I'm going to get the Series 65 on top of that. What's been your learning process to keep taking all of this in?
Financially, I'm not where I want to be yet,
Okay.
right? But then I guess the word would be, and it sounds so cliche, but I'm just really driven in that way. If I see an opportunity and it feels right, it feels good to me, I'm going for it. Now, sometimes, of course, that has led me into situations where the opportunity wasn't as great as I thought it was, or maybe I feel like I spent time here and I could have been there, but that's okay. It's like that's life. But yeah, if something feels right for me, even if it's difficult, then I'm gonna dig in.
Got
So
you.
it's not about anything about law school. I don't not about that. It's just about a feeling.
Gotcha. Gotcha. So it's that drive, just
Yeah.
having that drive, say, hey, look, boom, if I come across it and I want to know it, I'm just going to put in the work necessary to get it done.
Yeah, and like coming from our family, my father and my mother were very sacrificial when it came to not only them but our family in general. I used to tell people all the time, as far as how we spent our time as a family, yes, we spent our time as a family unit, but we were always in the community with different families, growing and doing different things. And so I just felt that service part of who I had been made to be. I just needed to serve it, but then take it to a next level. Like my parents were more socially conscious
Right.
and very, very knowledgeable about economics. But for me, I had to take that social, that economic, and really apply it, which meant the financial arena for me.
Got you. Anybody else in your family enter this industry or decide to take a similar path to you?
No, but my sisters are also entrepreneurs and in service oriented fields. So my eldest sister actually started a homeschool for her children, and then it grew. And Tamu Sana Kenyama Preparatory. She named it after my mother, and she's graduating. She's been graduating children into very, very good schools for the last several years, high
Awesome.
schoolers. So much so that the homeschools, I'm sorry, not homeschools, the independent Black schools in Atlanta several of those middle schools will feed into her high school.
Wow.
Yeah, that's my eldest sister, Ayenda. And then Noni, actually, she's a healer. Noni has a space called the Core Total Body Salon and Spa. She's an herbalist. Last Friday, I got another most amazing massage. So we're all in the space of service to people and
Yeah.
very unique to who we are. So everybody chose something that's meaningful to them and also very meaningful to other people, but is all different.
That's amazing. That's amazing. This is just good stock, come from good stock.
Yeah, yeah.
Right, right. So, speaking of service, let's talk a little bit about some of the work that you're doing that you have really leveraged your time, energy, knowledge, expertise, resources to SOBA, Society of Black Agents. How did SOBA come about? What's the objective? Why should folks really pay attention to it as well? From a need, I know why, but tell people why they need to be paying attention to SOBA as well.
So, okay, so let's back into it. So the
Yeah.
reason people need to be paying attention to SOBA, one is it's a safe space for Black agents. And at a point, we're focused on the US, but we don't know where that's going because Black people are everywhere. I've never practiced insurance anywhere else but the US, but I can imagine that agents elsewhere are having some of the same experiences we have here, meaning we are very much marginalized when it comes to the insurance industry. And sometimes we just need someone to lean on. We need someone to answer a question without attaching it to a sale. We need a community where we can speak freely about the things we deal with from our clients. As an agent, our community is Black people. Those differences, it creates a safe space for us to share information. We're not asking for anybody's contract. We're not a marketing organization. We're not contracted with any insurance carriers. It is simply a safe space for us to connect, share best practices, share referrals, but then too, for the community, at a point, the community will recognize that if you are a SOBA agent, then you care for the community in a very special way, that you're not just about money, you're more so about education, legacy, and making sure we have just access to all things financial.
So it's like a quality stamp.
It is. It is just like back in the day, and my father will say this from time to time. I don't know if you remember growing up, and maybe they still use these products, but like Afro Sheen, it had a picture of a lady that looked like she had braids.
Right.
That symbol was called the Proud Lady. And that meant something, that meant that, hey, we're certified, stamped and sealed, as that type of product for the people. And I don't know who owned that, but SOBA is Black owned, right? And we're putting a stamp on it and we're certifying agents to say, no, we're taking care of our community and we're putting you first.
I love that. I love that. So how was SOBA born? How was Society of Black Agents born?
Thomas Priester, my partner, we actually met. I also served as a board member for Us Lifting Us Economic Development Co-op, which for me, co-op is a very, very important thing for Black people. Well, for any groups, right? And we could talk about that at another time. But we met based on my involvement in that organization. And once he met me and he kind of understood where I was coming from, being in the financial services industry, but also very much tied to us creating our own avenues of wealth and economic stability as a Black community. Those two things together, I think, made him see something in me. And I remember he gave me the idea of what he wanted to do with an organization. We didn't have a name yet. And I remember telling him, hey, I got a lot on my plate. If I don't get back to you by next Monday, I'm probably not going to be able to do this with you, right? Monday came and went. Tuesday, he called me like I never said that and just kept giving me his ideas. And I was like, dang, I can't let this brother go alone. Like, so that was, I want to say probably about 2 years ago.
Okay.
And we officially launched Society of Black Agents December 12th of last year, so of 2021.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And SOBA is nationwide. I know it's based in Atlanta, but there are SOBA agents. I know up here where I am in Virginia as well. Where else is SOBA kind of connected
Oh my
around the
goodness.
country?
Oh, SOBA, we've got agents in Texas, we've got agents in Ohio, we've got agents in Florida, Virginia, California. I know I'm missing a lot because our Facebook group, and for any agents out, Black agents out there who are interested, our Facebook group is private. It is no cost to join our Facebook group, but there you will find probably about 650, 700 agents within that group. And then we have our paid membership, where once you pay a subscription, depending on the level of membership you desire, there are things like discounted leads, marketing materials, white label marketing materials, because that's a sore spot for us too. When we want to market as independent agents, lots of times the insurance carriers we work with, they don't have the images we need to convey the message to our community that, hey, no, this is for you.
Wow.
And yeah, so we have some vendors that we work with that provide that type of marketing.
So in addition to the safe space, in addition to that safe space and having some access to some mentorship and some guidance, that really is not based on any utility, right? It's like, hey, we're just here to help you. You also have resources that agents can utilize to help build their business, which I would imagine is really powerful for new or existing agents who are looking to kind of broaden their footprint and have some resources that are specific to their culture experiences.
Absolutely. Yes, that's really important because we can be a safe space, but if you have to step out of that safe space to go and, let's say, sign a contract with an insurance company just so you can get a CRM or client management system, and then you get that CRM, and if you don't like that product or you don't stay with that company long term, now you no longer have that tool.
Yeah.
And so we really, if I had to say we were niching it down, we would probably say our main target is the independent Black agent who is looking for all the pieces of the puzzle so that they can fuel their own vision.
Yeah. And that's important. So especially for people who are new, because it's not like this career path is the most publicized, on the social media streams. The things that you hear about are, kind of the hot tickets. It's real estate investing, or it's crypto, or it's NFTs, or something, things of that nature.